Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. Welcome to Elite Talk, not Wrestling Experience, but Elite Talk. Welcome to a second edition of the Elite Talk, and welcome to the streams. We are live on the internet across the board. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be discussing Rampage, AEW Rampage. Tonight, we're also going to be giving you our final thoughts on the the AEW Dynamite show. So we got all of that and so much more here today. We're also going to be discussing the CM Punk situation, and of course, we're going to discuss that and so much more here today on Elite Talk with Earl and Tyler.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, the Wrestling Experience, with your host, Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, the Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Earl Cole.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elite Talk. I'm Earl Cole, and welcome to the streams. Welcome to the internet, and welcome tonight to another edition of Elite Talk. We've got a lot to talk about here tonight. We're going to be discussing AEW Rampage. We're also going to be talking about the CM Punk situation, and we're also going to be discussing AEW Dynamite. Our final thoughts on AEW Dynamite. We are beaming across on my channel of the All Star Sports Network, Philly Sports Talk, and all points in between. So please, whatever you do, subscribe to all our channels. We greatly appreciate it. And hit that like button and hit the like button on all of our channels. Again, we greatly appreciate it. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring on my co-pilot, the one and the only. He has It's Real to Me podcast, Philly Sports Talk, and the All Star Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and the only Tyler. Let's add him to the screen. Oh, did we lose Tyler? Oh, I think we lost Tyler. Tyler's having some technical issues. We lost him. So we hope to have Tyler back on the streams. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Rampage for a second. Rampage was pretty good last night, I have to admit. Let's see if we can get back Tyler.
I was fixing to text you like, bro, I'm backstage. What was happening there?
I don't know, man. My Wi-Fi kicked in and everything else kicked in, and it gave me a karate chop to the throat and everything else in between. I don't know.
It gave you an elbow drop in the top rope and everything.
Exactly. I don't know what was happening there. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gave it a figure four leg lock and it tapped out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. So Tyler, last night we had Rampage. What did you make of it?
It was a solid show, a very, very solid show. I liked all the matches. I love that whole thing with, Mark Briscoe forced to be teaming with that group that he's been feuding with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and them, and him being like, I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. I got a job to do. And also, I like the whole thing with Taya Valkyrie and Jade Cargill. But that match, let's be honest, that match was an afterthought, in my opinion, because it just led to a segment. The segment overshadowed the match, and I hate those. I really do.
Yeah, I hate those too. I think it just says a disservice to the whole thing. But in layman's words, in layman's terms, I think it served it purposely well because these two women are feuding, and these two
Yeah.
women are at odds. Now you have to sit there and you have to give yourself some kind of credit here with this because yes, like Tyler said, I agree. It took away from the match, the nuance and everything else. It took away from the match because the match was quick. The match was really not much to really write home about. It was what it was.
Yeah.
Um, and then afterwards, the beatdown of Ty and everything else due to Jay Cargill. These ladies are fighting over their finish. I'm not sure which finish is better, hers or Valkyrie's, but I think that this, like I said before, and I'll say it again, all of this is going to lead to Double or Nothing. This is what's going to lead to.
Yeah.
And I think, in my infinite wisdom, I think that we will have a brand new champion. And that I think should happen.
Yeah, I have to agree there because this whole over 50 something wins and no losses thing, I just enough of that. Her championship run's already still as is. You still keep having her win matches. It's time for her to drop the belt, Tony. It's time for her to just drop that title. Give it to somebody else. Give it to a
Yeah,
Taya Valkyrie.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I agree.
eh, I did like the best friends match too. I thought it was just like normal, a funny best friends match. I really like that too.
Right.
It was just a
Yeah.
good,
Let's talk about that first match. Let's
yeah.
talk about that. The IWGP tag team
Oh
titles
my
for
god, that should have been the main event.
yes.
Oh my god, that
How
match was
good
so
was
good,
that? How good was that match?
bro. They should have had the main event because everything after that was being overshadowed by that first match. That should have been the main
Yes.
event. I
Yes.
hate when I hate when AEW Rampage always starts off with a main event match. I hate
Yes.
when that happens. They always do
Yes.
that.
And I says, why did this close the show? Why did this close the show? Why?
Everybody was hitting their spots. Everybody was doing what they needed to do in that ring. Aussie Open is so over with the fans. They love
I,
Aussie Open. Their momentum is just perfect. But to have that match first was a crime.
right.
Was a crime. You could have had, filler, and have that as the main event. Fine. I don't care. All right. Just give me a solid show. And yes, the show was solid, but the thing is, everything after that match was overshadowed because of this match. And it was perfect. The match was perfect. The
I,
perfect the perfect spots, the perfect action, the perfect
right.
length, the perfect finish. It was great.
Like I said before, I'll say it again, Tyler. I had no issues with this match whatsoever. I had zero issues with this match. The match, like you said, I agree with your assessment. The match was great. The match was fun. The match was fantastic. Every nuance in the ring was just keeping you on the edge of your seat. I thought at one point in the match that the best friends was going to win the match, but they didn't come up with the IWGP tag team titles. They didn't come up with it because Ozzy Open just won the title, so they're not going to be dropping it anytime soon. So I just was like, wow, this match was fantastic. I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved it.
give me more of these two. I don't care if it's in a New Japan ring or an AEW ring. Give me more of these teams. Um,
Exactly.
it's just it was just great, and I love what Aussie Open has brought the last few months on American soil, whether it's in AEW, Ring of Honor, um, both companies. You know, and even in Impact, they did a stint in Impact when they were going after the Impact titles
Right.
for a while there. Um, I'm happy to see what Aussie Open can do going forward, because I've actually am like all these fans in it for AEW, for Impact, for Ring of
Mm.
Honor. I'm starting to
Hmm.
like Aussie Open too.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're a great tag team. I think they have great chemistry together. I think they've got great fluidity together. I think they do what they do in the ring is fantastic. I love the moves that they do in the ring. They're not
Yeah,
stiff. They're not. They're all coordinated correctly. I
yeah,
mean, I don't have any issues. Like I said before, I'll say it again. The match was fantastic.
yeah.
The match was great. I again, like I said before, I'll say it again. I had no issues with the match. I had zero issues. Again, it was good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Um, okay. Okay. We talked about Amy Sakura taking on Ty Valkyrie. Like I said, the match really was about. But I have to tell you something though. I have to tell you something about Amy Sakura. She can go. That woman
Yeah,
can go.
dude.
She can
I'm
hold her
telling you,
own in the ring.
this was why I was so upset that they couldn't have Taya and Emmy go longer than what they did.
Right.
Because these two women, they know their stuff in that ring. They know how to work a crowd. They know how to perform all these moves so clean, and they're just great in that ring. And I love
Exactly.
the chemistry between Taya and Emmy in this match. I loved it.
Yes.
Um, but of course, the match ran short because of a segment that they wanted to do with you know Jade Cargill and her baddie attacking Taya.
Right.
And I don't like, yes, I love progressing feuds, but when you're sacrificing a quality match like that between Taya and Emmy to just do a segment to where Taya's getting beat down because of a feud, that doesn't sit
Uh,
well. That really does not sit well with me. And I hate that they do this. Like, I already complained that WWE does this, but AEW's doing it now, to where
no.
they're having a match, and then the match goes like 2 minutes, maybe three
Right.
minutes tops,
Right.
and then you just have like a like 5 minute long segment to fill that time. That time that you had for that segment could have been a match. Could have still
Right.
been the match. Yet you cut the match short for this segment. And I get you have to build it, but you could have done that on Wednesday. Let's be honest. You could have had Jade Cargill come out and just, stand at the ramp while the match is going on, looking on. But
Right.
they did what they did. Can't do nothing about it. We're not the writers. We're not the booker. What can we do?
Exactly. I again, I agree with your again. I agree with the assessment. Um, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the way I would have done it, and this is the way I would have done it. First of all, I would have had them had a clean wrestling match. The two ladies. Okay.
Yeah.
She wins the match clean. Okay. The match, let's say, goes 15, almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Match goes for almost 15, 20 minutes. All right, fine. She wins the match clean. All right, she won. Ty Valkyrie's your winner. Okay. And now after the match, she goes on the ramp and she's walking backwards on the ramp and she's up there telling the audience she won and this and that and she's gonna get Jay Cargill. And all of a sudden she turns around and Jay Cargill pump kicks her on the ramp. Now that would have worked.
That would have definitely worked. It would have
That would have
progressed the
worked.
feud, and it
Right.
wouldn't have taken away from the Emmy and Taya match if
Right.
that would have played out like that.
Right. That's the way I would have booked it. And that's
I
the
would
way
have
I
done
would
the
have
same
wrote it.
thing. Yeah.
That's the way I would have wrote it. If you and I were in the war room, I said, Tyler, I think we should do it this way. This is the way we're gonna do it. Uh,
And I would bust out my Vince McMahon and go, "That is such good shit."
and then I'll go to the back and get you a Sprite. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I digress.
I wanted a Coke, damn it.
That's all they had in the machine, doggone it.
Ah, damn.
Oh man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we would have done with the match. That's what I would have done.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have worked. It would have worked. It would have worked, and it would have worked very well. It would have worked perfectly. She goes up the ramp. She's celebrating her win. She turns around. She has no idea that Jay Cargill's at the top of the ramp. She goes all the way up and she pump kicks her right in the face and knocks her clean out. And then stands over her and trash talks her. That's how you would have done it.
Yep.
You took care of two things in one. You took care of two birds with one stone. You got the clean match. You got to set up the feud, and everybody's happy at the end.
That's definitely would how I would do it too.
Yeah, that's that. I
Definitely.
mean, that's the way. That's the way I would have done it.
Yeah. I'm
And
not
I,
gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and sacrifice the match. Let the match go 2 minutes and then have the heel come in and beat down the face. I'm not gonna do that.
no,
I'm gonna have maybe 10, 15 minutes for the match, possibly 20, depending on the time and when they
right,
want the show to end, because the show usually goes an hour anyway. I would probably go maybe 10 minutes. I would go 10 minutes here. Because you need a lot of time for a little bit more matches. But then, if you're going 10 minutes, you'll have to like cut a match, and I
right,
would move a match to Dynamite at that point if I
right,
wanted to have that. So I would move a match to Dynamite. I would probably move the IWGP match to Dynamite. More eyes watch that rather than a Rampage. So that's how I would do that. Move the IWGP match to Dynamite and
right,
let Taya and Emmy duke it out for 10 minutes.
right,
Like I would do that and not do this whole 2 minute thing. But
right.
I digress.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Again, I agree with all of that. See, it all depends on time management, and and,
Yeah.
and, and that is something a lot of wrestling organizations have problems with, and they still have problems with. It's time management. Um, you know that you want to set up this feud and everything else. So put that. I see. This is the way I would have done it too. I would have put this match on in the beginning of the show. This way, you would have had plenty of time. You had plenty of time to marinate this match. Make the audience marinate on this. Okay, go out there. Let's say 18 minutes. You guys go out there for 18 minutes, win the match clean. She goes up the ramp. You turn around. You had no idea she's at the top of the ramp. You pump kick her. You knock her out. Trash talk her. Segment is over. Match is over. Everybody wins. And and that's how I would have did it. Uh,
Yeah.
Fresh as a daisy, clean as a day. Your hands are clean. Everything is done in one package. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. Anyway, next match.
Anyway, next match, ladies and gentlemen. But the match was good. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the
Yeah, the
match
match
was
was
good.
the match was
Match
pretty
was
good.
good. Match was pretty
It just
good.
was short for time.
Yeah. Jack Perry taking on Sean Spears. Loved the segment with Sean Spears. Loved the interview behind the scenes. Thought that was good. I thought the interview was great. He's now a baby face, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. He mentioned about MJF going after MJF's title. Again, I have no problem with that because he was MJF's lackey at one point. He dropped that title and now he's on his own and he's doing his thing. I thought the match with him and Jungle Boy was pretty good. I had no issues with it whatsoever. In the
Yeah,
end, they shook.
I knew going in that this match was going to be very, very good because I love what Sean Spears brings to the table. I also love what Jack Perry brings to the table. I
Yes,
love what Jungle Boy brings.
right,
Um, this match ended up being what was advertised, and I
right,
really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it thoroughly. Everybody did what they had to do in the ring, and the right person won.
right,
So, I'm glad that they're giving Jungle Boy this momentum leading up to Double or Nothing, where he's going to be fighting in a Fatal 4-Way match. That's what it's booking as. But it's what I'm leaning towards
right,
is happening with this build, because you also have Sammy Guevara and Darby going after the title too. So
right.
you'll definitely see a Fatal 4-Way happen, and I'm very, very excited for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Tyler. That was brilliant and analytics by you. Um, I loved it. I can't wait for this fatal four way. I really can't. I think this is the road that they're going to travel on, ladies and gentlemen. And again, like I said, I don't have no issues with it because this is going to be MJF's biggest challenge. Can he defeat four men in one match? That's going to be a big buffet tray of stuff that he's going to have to take out of that kitchen. A lot of heavy furniture he's got to lift. So I'm interesting to see. I'm interesting to see this exactly what he has to offer. Now, let me tell you all something. He did that last man standing match perfectly. He went in that match and he lasted. And let me tell you all something. I don't want to hear anybody anymore talk about MJF can't wrestle. MJF can wrestle. All right?
Yeah,
MJF can wrestle. I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear that anymore. The proof was in the pudding when he went in that last man standing. Let me tell you something, folks. That last man standing match was probably one of the best things I have ever seen in modern day wrestling history. I have never seen any last man. I dare anybody, any wrestling organization, to produce what AEW did in that last man standing match because you won't hold a candle to it. You will not hold a candle to it because this match was absolutely fantastic.
it
But
definitely
any,
was. It
yeah,
definitely was. And people are like, oh, he's bad in the ring. He was never bad in the ring to begin with. I don't know where you're
no,
getting at. I do not know where you're getting at. Where, oh, this guy can't wrestle. Oh, this guy can't do this. This guy can't do that. But here's the thing: wrestling fans can be fickle. They can be quote unquote a holes about things. Oh, this guy can't wrestle. This person can't wrestle. This person can't hold a job. This person can't do this. This person can't do that. When majority of the time it's not true. And that's what angers me, because they're not actually looking at things. They're not actually checking out these shows. They're not actually looking at these wrestlers work.
right.
And that's what irritates me.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, Tyler.
No, you're good.
Like I,
I was done anyway.
oh, okay. I, I just feel that some wrestling fans are fickle. They're
That's
fickle. Uh,
exactly.
they're fickle. They do not. Some wrestling fans do not see the forest from the trees. They do not look at the overall picture. And that is something I have an issue with some fans. Not all fans, but some fans I have an issue with. You guys don't see the forest from the trees. You do not see the overall picture. Go back and look at that last man standing match, and you tell me that that man can't wrestle. That is baloney. That is baloney because you don't know what you're watching and you obviously don't know what you're looking at. I mean, come on now. I mean, the man lasted that last man standing match. He
Yeah,
did.
he did. Yep.
And he did.
Yep.
The man could wrestle. The man can wrestle. I don't want to hear any more about that. I'm not going to get into the debate with anyone with that anymore because I'm going to shut you down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you, he can wrestle. And if you don't like his wrestling, then don't watch it. It's not for you. Wrestling is not for everybody. I'm telling you right now, it's not for everybody. It's not. And I don't mean to be mean or be facetious or whatever. I'm not trying to be nasty or anything. It's just that maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not. I remember I told that to somebody once and they were like, "Oh, you're nasty. You don't like the." I said, "Listen, I'm not nasty. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm sorry. I don't do that. I'm just being honest. That maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not something you should take up as a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, like us fans here, that we know we see what have. Let me tell you something. I've been a fan, as everybody knows already. I've been a fan of wrestling for a long time, a very long time. And let me tell you something. I know when someone can't wrestle. Okay, I know. I've seen it. In my heydays, I've seen it. Like you
And
go
in my and
into
in my and in my I've been watching wrestling since I was 4. I'm 24, gonna be 25 in a couple weeks. So I've been a wrestling fan a pretty decent amount of time too, and I've seen wrestlers who couldn't wrestle the couldn't wrestle a lick.
exactly, and
You
then there
you
are
seen you
the
I've seen
go ahead,
guys like
Tyler. I'm sorry.
Jinder Mahal not being able to wrestle. I seen, oh God, the great Khali can't wrestle a damn lick. I've seen Omos can't wrestle a damn lick. Um,
Satnam Singh.
Satnam Singh can't wrestle a damn lick. And all these other wrestlers, hell, they're not tall, can't wrestle a damn lick.
Can't. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you get somebody in the ring, okay, I don't want to keep going on about this, but if you get somebody in the ring, okay, and you know that they're not connecting with the audience, or their wrestling is, you, they have no business in the ring. They have no
No, they
business.
don't.
They don't
They
have
don't.
no business. They have no business in the ring because it's going to look so bad on camera. It's going to look so awkward. I,
Not only just that. If you're bad in the ring, you're at higher risk of injuring the guy that you're wrestling.
yeah, exactly.
So it's like it's a double edged. It's like a 2-for-1 type thing. It's gonna look bad on TV, and you're gonna potentially injure somebody.
Right.
Not saying that the best wrestlers don't slip up and they hurt their opponent on accident, but like, because there's been countless times where good wrestlers do accidentally injure their opponent. It happens, but
Hmm.
you're at a higher risk when you can't wrestle. You can't help wrestle, and half of these wrestlers make the bad wrestler look good because you're getting carried by the good wrestler,
Right.
and it's like that's an issue. And
Exactly.
and for these fans saying, "Oh, MJF can't wrestle. Oh, MJF can't speak on the mic. Oh, MJF can't do this. He can't do that." That is total BS.
Yep.
BS.
Yep. And that's all we got to say about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've made our
Yeah.
point. I think we've made our point crystal clear.
Signed, sealed, and goddamn delivered, bro.
I love Tyler's sense of humor, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this last match. Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, Jeff
Oh, wait a
Jarrett.
minute, wait a minute. You're missing a segment. I want to talk about this
Oh,
segment.
oh, okay.
FTR.
Oh
FTR.
yes, oh yes. FTR made a segment, ladies and gentlemen. FTR was in the ring, and last night they were interviewed by the one and the only Tony Schiavone. Um, they signed a 3-year deal with AEW. They
Wait,
said one
I thought it was a
four four
4-year
year
deal.
4-year deal.
Yeah, 4 year.
Sorry. Well,
Now you're
thank
good.
you for the correction, Tyler.
Yo,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Oh,
No problem. You were just a
it,
year off. It
right, right,
happens.
right. They signed a 4-year deal with AEW, ladies and gentlemen. But they said once that deal is done, they are going to officially retire from wrestling. They are done.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that this is great.
yeah.
They know that they have their limits.
Yep.
And one thing is about I like about FTR that the WWE didn't hone in on is that these men love wrestling. They love that old school tag team kind of wrestling. And I love things like that because that warms my heart. Because I grew up on old school tag team wrestling. I
Yeah,
grew up on tag teams like the Rockers and the Killer Bees and the British Bulldogs and the Hart Foundations. These are the tag teams that I grew up on. And these are the tag teams that I expound upon. And these are the tag teams that I followed. Um, and these guys, they know their limit. They're not going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to sign a 10-year deal and I'm going to be out there at 80 years old in a rocker or a wheelchair. And I'm going to come out there and entertain the audience. They know their limit. They said 4 years is good enough. They want to be retired. They're going to take their money and go home with it. I had no issues with this segment whatsoever. Great promo, great thing. They let the fans know what was happening behind the scenes. They are the tag team champions. I love FTR. I think that they are fabulous at what they do. When they first came out, they were heels and they switched them to babyface. And the crowd loves FTR. And let me tell you something. I have been to 17 AEW live events, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. Every time FTR steps into the arena, the mercury just goes up in the building. It just absolutely goes up to the building where you just sit there and just be silent. Just be silent and look around what's around you. Just look around you. I know that the fans are just smiling from ear to ear every time FTR comes out. They chant their names. They want to see them wrestle. They want to see them put on a banger of a tag team match, and that's what FTR does. That's what they are. That's what they are. They
yep.
go out there and they put bangers after bangers after bangers of tag team. I mean, look at that dog collar match that they put on in Ring of Honor. How good was that?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Um, and they were working with one of the best tag teams in wrestling. That the current day of wrestling is seen in the Briscoes.
Right,
So you expected going in, even on paper, you expected it to be a good match because FTR, like you had said, they're just a classic tag team. They're just that classic tag team that you really haven't seen the past 20, 30 years because
right,
tag team wrestling has evolved over time to what it is today.
right.
Some may say devolve, but it's an evolution in a sense because it's a
Mm-hmm.
different time. But
Mm-hmm.
but like it was great that they know their limits. They know they told the fans what was going on, like you said. Um, Also, I want to take into account these two have families. These two
Yes.
have these two have wives. They have kids.
Yes.
You know, they need to spend time with their families. They need
Yes.
to have that time off. They don't need to keep banging up their bodies, getting hurt half the time, not being able to play with their kids outside and
Right.
and do stuff with their kids because they're hurt, they're in a wheelchair, or they're, you know, their arms busted, their legs busted, or something. Like
Right.
they want to do stuff with their kids. They want to do stuff with their families. So I completely understand that that they have said, look, we're gonna retire after 4 years. We only signed a 4 year contract because we talked to Tony Khan. We didn't want many years and X amount of money. We wanted, short term contract, 4 years, and then we're done. We're hanging up the boots. And while I'm sad because, FTR, I've grown to like them over time. They've won everywhere they went. Ring of Honor, AAA, AEW, WWE, the indie scene. The only place they really haven't won was Impact, but they don't really need the Impact tag titles. They don't need
Right.
that. Because a lot of wrestling fans see Impact as an afterthought at this point.
Right.
So they basically won everywhere, and they've done what they wanted to accomplish in wrestling. So if they wanted to retire now, I wouldn't have been upset because they did accomplish so much.
Yeah, they did.
They
They
got
have.
the fanfare, they got the titles. In any company that they go to, they got over.
Mm-hmm.
WWE, they got over.
Mm-hmm.
AEW, they got over. Ring of Honor, they got over.
Mm-hmm.
They have the fanfare. They have the titles, and they don't need to do much more. They don't. Like,
No, they don't.
what's left? What is left?
Right.
And I'm glad that they're doing. It's also a nice change of pace because a lot of tag teams do tend to break up before they get back together and they
Right.
retire, but um, they've actually been a team since day one
Right.
of their careers. They've been best friends for years, and now they're retiring together. That's awesome. That's awesome. You can't write a better story than that.
No,
You
you
really can't.
can't. And let me tell you something. If they decided, this is up to them. This is totally up to them. If they decided that after they retire, after the 4 year contract is up, if they want to become writers of AEW behind the scenes and write some of the segments or matches or script matches or whatever, they can totally do that. Tony Khan could tap into that because they know wrestling. Tony Khan could absolutely tap into that. They can do it part time if they want. They don't have to do it full time. They can come in and write a match for pay per view, or they can produce a pay per view segment. And they can do, whatever. The sky's the limit for FTR. But I applaud them totally for doing this. I think that was a right move for them. They know their limits, they know their bodies, and they're not gonna put their bodies through any more rigorous bumps that they need to take in the ring. They've done enough. They've done enough. They've done enough. And
Yeah.
I applaud their decision 1,000%. And if you don't, that's on you. That's your issue, and that's not mine. I don't have a problem with the segment. I had no problem with it. I was glad that they were transparent with the audience. I thought that was great the way they were transparent with the audience. They told them the truth. They told them what was happening behind the scenes. Tony Khan didn't want them to go to WWE because he knew that WWE wouldn't treat them well. He knew that. They didn't treat them well the first time. What did you think they were going to do the second time if they went
Yep.
over there?
Yep.
Um, so, um, so I'm glad that Tony Khan made the decision, and they both came to a mutual agreement that 4 years is enough, and they'll be home, like Tyler brilliantly said, be home with their families. And like I said before, if they want to get involved, like I said before, I said again, but that's totally up to them. But like I said, if they want to get more involved in wrestling, like I said, they can do it on a part-time level. They can come in one night on a pay-per-view and write a match for the pay-per-view for Tony and produce it. and all of that and get out of the building. Oh, my match is done. I can go home now.
Yeah.
They don't have to sit around and wait around for the media scrum or whatever. They can just go home. They can do that. They can totally do that. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. The sky's the limit for FTR. But I was happy with the segment. It made me feel good. It made me feel proud that to be a wrestling fan, to see finally wrestlers being transparent with the fans and not be phony or fake or evade questions or whatever. What's going on with you? I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
Good. That
really
was
they basically treated us, in that segment like we were their friends.
yes,
That's what I liked about it. Like, look, guys, we love you guys, so we're gonna tell you the truth. We're gonna, you know, like you said, be transparent because we
yes,
don't look at you as our fans. We look at you as our friends.
yeah. And
So
I
that's what I
loved
loved
it.
about it.
I
Yeah, I
loved
love that
it.
thing.
Yeah, you're right, Tyler. I agree with that. That's great analytics by you again. That's great. They brought you in, they gave you a hug and said everything is gonna be all right. We're here for 4 years for you, but after that the curtain will come down. And I don't
Yeah.
have no problem with it. I have no problem with
Nope.
it. No,
Nope.
I have no issues with that whatsoever. None. Good stuff. I'm
Maybe
glad
good
I'm
time.
yeah. So let's talk about this. Mark Briscoe and let's see what we got here. Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett and Satnam Singh were in it. The match was I don't know what to say about this match. I really don't know what to say at this time.
I thought it was just all right, in my opinion. It was all right, but the whole thing with just pinning Mark Briscoe with this group, it's like I don't like. Why would you have him tag with them?
Yeah, I
What's
don't.
the point of that? He's feuding with them. Why are you teaming them up?
And
Like
yeah,
I was half expecting a sabotage. You know
right,
those guys jumping Mark Briscoe. But
right.
that didn't happen. There was a
No,
clean finish with Mark Briscoe hitting Froggy Bow at the end
right,
to win the
right.
match. I don't know, man. It was just questionable. It was fine, but it was just questionable.
Like I said before, and I'll say it again. I mean the match was weird. I don't know. I don't know. I just something about that match just didn't sit well with me as a fan. I'm like, is this guy supposed to be a baby face or a heel or what's going on here? Does he want to join the faction? Is he trying to trick the faction into thinking that
No,
he's
no.
with
What's
them?
what's happening is that he was if you looked at weeks prior, he was forced into this match. He was forced to
Right,
tag them. He doesn't
right,
want
right,
to tag with them, and there was
right,
some dissension, but he just went and said, "You know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna wrestle and do my thing.
right, exactly.
If they want to beat me up, whatever. If they want to beat me up after the match, so be it. I still don't
Right,
like these guys. So Mark, to clear this up, Mark's still a babyface.
right.
Um, he's feuding with them, but weeks prior they made this match. I think a week or two prior, and it was it was a hokey thing to begin with, the build to this match, but he was pinned up against like a rock and a hard place in this build, and he had a team with him. He
I
doesn't
just
like it, but he had to do it.
right. I mean I just don't I don't know. I'm just glad for you, Tyler. I'm glad that you because my ship was in a fog and I needed that beacon of light. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tyler came along and he parted the sea with me and he made me see very clearly. Okay, so now I got it. Now I get the whole thing. I didn't get it at first. Did get it at first, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to be honest with my audience, with our audience, excuse me. Um, I, I just wanted to be clear as to what was happening here.
Yeah,
But again, like I said, the match was okay. I mean, now here's the thing that Serpentico and Luther, they need to do something else with this faction. They need to do something else with them because I'm sorry. I mean, these guys are jobbers. They're clearly jobbers. And Helico needs something else to do. They need to put him in a different program. Um, I don't know what to do with this. I really don't know what to do with these three men. I really don't. I cannot put my thinking cap on at this point. But they need to be in a different program. They need
This is
something.
this is a problem. This is a problem for me because I've had this problem since Dark became a thing. All
Right.
right. I was hoping they were saying, "Oh, Dark is going to help elevate talent and we'll move them up when they're ready for TV." Dark is just a main event for AEW. That's all that is anymore. A lot of the talent that they don't want to use stuck on Dark.
Or Dark Elevation.
Serpentico, and this other guy. They can't really. They're a great team. They are a great team. I loved them on Dark, but the problem is AEW turned Dark and Dark Elevation to main event and superstars.
Mm.
That's all it is now, Tony. You lied again. Oh, records matter. Lie.
Right.
Oh, Dark and Dark Elevation is gonna help with the talent, elevate talent. Lie.
Right.
We're not gonna let's look at this from an objective standpoint here. Yeah, did it elevate people like Sky Blue? Yes. Did it elevate people like who
Dante
else?
Martin.
Dante Martin and Top Flight. The entirety of Top Flight. It elevated them. It elevated some talent. But where the hell have wrestlers like Serpentico been stuck on Dark and jobbing on these main shows?
Right.
But the bigger question that I have, where in the hell is Abaddon?
Here's the thing. From what I understand from the reports that I've read, she is supposed to be injured. Now, I don't, she got injured in an indie match that she wrestled in, and I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if
They've been saying that she was hurt for the past 3 years. That's the problem.
I know.
The past 3 years, they've been saying she's hurt. The past 3 damn years straight. She's not. Here's the thing. She was occasionally on Dark for a little bit. They brought her up to TV. She gets jobbed out. They put her back on Dark. And now she's off TV for 3 years straight. And they keep saying she's hurt.
Right.
She's not hurt. You don't use her.
I don't know, dude. I can't make heads or tails of it, dude.
No, I can't either, man. You know, you're like Tony Khan is sitting there spewing these lies about her, saying, "Oh, she's hurt."
I don't know.
I follow Abaddon on freaking social media. Do I see her wearing a cast? Do I see her wearing an arm brace? Do I see her in a hospital bed having posting their pic? Oh, I'm gonna have surgery. No, I don't see that. She's walking around fine. And yet you're over here saying, "Oh, she's hurt for the past 3 years."
Right.
Tony, what is up with that? Why are you lying to your fans?
I don't know. Tyler, I don't know. I mean, let me explain something. First of all, Abaddon is really not a good wrestler, and I think Tony must have seen that she's really not that.
I thought she was okay. I thought she was okay. She had a lot of potential, but that's the problem. She has a lot of potential. They don't tap into it. Look at
Right.
Jamie Hayter. She was
Right.
bad in the ring too at one point.
Right.
They just kept booking her and booking her and booking her. All right, work on this, work on this, work on this. You'll get better. You'll get better. You'll get better. They pushed her to be good. They're not pushing Abaddon to be good at all.
Well,
That's the problem.
something. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Tyler. If somebody doesn't believe in your talent, and somebody doesn't like you personally, you're not going anywhere.
No, you're not. You're
You're
not.
not going. You're not going anywhere. You when you walk in the building, you're going to get the silent treatment. You are to go to the production room, and they're going to give you instructions on what you're going to do tonight. You are going to get the stew beat out of you by X number of wrestlers, and that will be your job tonight, and that's your pay. You go out there, you do what we tell you to do. Otherwise, we are going to make it very bad for you. We'll make your life a living hell. And that is the truth. That is the truth with wrestling. If you're not the type of person that's liked by everyone in the locker room and production people, that's what's going to happen to you. And it's going to happen to you every time you walk through the door. They're going to say to you, "We got to talk to you in production." They sit you down on the table. They said, "This is what's happening tonight. You are going to take this bump, you're going to take that bump, you're going to get mashed up tonight, and that's going to be your job. You just lay there and do what they tell you to do, and that will be doing it. You don't back talk, you don't say nothing, you don't do anything. It's already been written, it's already been in stone, it's been approved, and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's the way they treat you. That is the way they treat you
They do.
all the time.
They
That's
do.
it.
And it's sad for a lot of these wrestlers who have potential. You see it. Serpentico, he's a great wrestler. He could have worked a match with El Vikingo and he
Right.
would have killed it. Um, and that's my issue with and that's my issue is that they like yeah if a wrestler can't wrestle, either teach them or job them out. And the problem is they chose the latter for Abaddon. They chose the latter
Yeah.
when they could have chose the former because she has a great character. She has a great character. I loved her character when she got the call in AEW in 2019. I like the character.
Yeah.
The one problem that I have is that they're not putting her on dark, so where she can improve,
Mm-hmm.
to where she can work matches and try to improve. They're
Mm-hmm.
keeping her off TV, saying she's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I had said before, Dark is just a main event. Dark Elevation Superstars, and then you have your main AEW shows.
Oh boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Rampage. That was
Yeah,
Rampage. That was Rampage, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good show. It was good. I enjoyed it. Highly entertaining. Great stuff. Great little nuance in matches. Love the
yeah,
FTR segment. One of my best segments of the night. Very transparent segment. Very heartfelt segment. Very warm segment. Brought you into their world, and I loved it. Um,
yeah.
Now let's talk about something here, ladies and gentlemen, before we say adieu. Um, CM Punk update.
Oh dear God.
Apparently, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, according to the Wrestling News and the Wrestling Observer, CM Punk is set to return to AEW on June the 21st in
Tony Khan.
Chicago.
Tony freaking Khan. What are
Yep,
you doing?
yep.
Oh my God, man.
So apparently, CM Punk is set to schedule to come back to AEW on June 21st when the AEW returns to Chicago on Dynamite.
Well, all I've got to say about that. All I've got to say about that. There goes the Bucks. There goes Kenny.
Yep.
There goes
Uh,
Hangman.
yep. I'm not happy about this, ladies and gentlemen. And apparently he's going to be spearheading. He's going to be headlining the new AEW 2-hour show called AEW Collision, which will be coming your way on Saturday mornings. Um, I I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this at all, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Tyler, we discussed this in length. The last time we did Elite Talk, and we also discussed this in length on my show last Thursday. If you want to see what we thought of this whole situation, you can go back and watch the encore presentation of both shows on my YouTube channel, and of course the Fully Sports Talk and all social media platforms. Um, we we as wrestling fans do not want CM Punk back in AEW. Why? Because we all know what he'll do to Tony Khan's company. He had already bashed it on the internet already. What do you think he's going to do, ladies and gentlemen, when he returns to live television? And I'm going to just say this one last thing about CM Punk. Tony Khan, you are the most biggest fool on two legs. You are the most biggest fool I have ever seen. You are going to allow a man to come back to your company after he bashed you, after he bashed your wrestlers, after he bashed your management, and he bashed everybody in between. Now, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this again. If he does the same thing he did the first time, and he's going to make it, and I'll just say this, I'll just say this one thing. When he comes back to AEW and he does the same thing he did the last time, I think he's gonna make it 10 times worse. And let me tell you something, Tony Khan, you won't be able to recover from the damage. You won't, because you know what's gonna happen, Tony. You know what's gonna happen. All of those ticket sales that you want for Forbidden Door, the London show, the big stadium show in Queens. All of those ticket sales, Tony, are going down the drain. And when you set up the arena, Tony, okay, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked with this, Tony. When you go set up the stage, Tony, in all of these arenas, and you go through the curtain and you look in the live audience, and when you sit there and you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I only drew 15 last night. I drew only 12 last night. What happened to the 25,000 I was promised? Well, Tony, that's funny because you hired CM Punk back and you turned the audience off. Do you think some fan is going to sit there and pay their hard-earned money that they work hard for to see some man come there and trash this company again and trash the fans again? Are you nuts? What is wrong with you? What are you taking? What are you on, Tony Khan? What is wrong with you? And then you're going to be running around backstage like a little puppy, all around CM Punk. You're going to be up there running after him like a little puppy because you're a fan of him. Oh my God, my dream fan is back. Yet and still, he's stabbing you in the back and talking nasty about you. But yet and still, he's your number one fan. You are an idiot, Tony Khan. You are an idiot. And I have nothing else to say after that. You are the most biggest fool on this planet. Let me tell you something. I'm just going to leave this at this. I'm going to leave this. This is my final thought. If you think for 1 minute, if you let me just say this. I don't care say what you want about WWE. If you sit there, if Triple H found out that CM Punk was on the internet bashing his company, and do you think Triple H would allow this man to walk back into WWE? Hell no. 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 Because the WWE is all about revenue and money. And they are not going to let one fool, ruin that for them. Absolutely not. I'm done.
All right. Here's my thing with this whole goddamn thing. Tony frickin' Khan, man. Tony Khan. Or actually, should I call you Tony Khan, C-O-N? Because that's what you are. You're conning us into believing CM Punk was never the issue. You're conning us to believe the Elite were the issue. You're siding with CM Punk over the Elite. You're siding with CM Punk over us, the fans, who saw past this nonsense. For 10 plus years, he's done this. 10 plus years. He backstabbed his own former best friend, 2011, on live television. He was spewing all this crap about the EVPs in AEW. And yeah, this all stemmed from a promo that and he does have a valid point that Hangman Page should have notified him, look, I'm going to tap into your personal issues if you don't mind by doing that. Yes, he has a valid excuse for why he went after Hangman Page. But do that in private, not at a goddamn media scrum. Do that in private. Talk with the guy in private. But air your grievances. The Young Bucks had nothing to do with that. Kenny had nothing to do with that. And yet you called them out over it. They had nothing to do with that. It was only you and Hangman Page that had issues. And yeah, every wrestler has issues. Yeah, they fight some of the time. Most of the time when they have issues. It happens. It's wrestling. But to air your grievances on a live broadcast like that, and to actually fight with people that had nothing to do with that, that's heinous. But Tony Khan, there you go again, being a friend instead of a boss.
Mm-hmm.
There you go again, siding with somebody that doesn't deserve a damn job again. He doesn't deserve a damn job. Because he caused this issue with WWE. He ran away from wrestling, did UFC for a little bit. He did the acting gigs. Even though the majority of his movies were B-listed. They weren't A-list movies, they were B-listed. He goes back to wrestling because the UFC thing flopped and the movie thing flopped. Goes back to wrestling, goes to AEW, causes issues again. CM Punk has a history of doing that. The only, and I said this on the Wrestling Experience this Thursday. This is what I said. I said, there's a difference as to why I'm more worried about him coming back to AEW than what he did in WWE 10 years ago. 10 plus years ago. WWE is a $2 billion company. Tony Khan only has a goddamn fraction of what his father has. A fraction. That's like $1 million. Whatever. There's a difference between $2 billion and $1 million. I'm just saying. And I feel like if he does the same nonsense and fans are turned off, yeah, there's some fans that side with CM Punk, whatever. Okay? Whatever. You'll be there. But the majority of wrestling fans don't like CM Punk. They don't like the guy. And for a good reason. And yet, here's Tony Khan setting him up for a summer return.
Yep.
That is ridiculous, Tony. Because you're going to lose fanfare. You're losing a lot of fanfare by the summer. What's going to happen? By October, there's no AEW. By the anniversary, which was supposed to be your 4 or 5 year anniversary, you are going to crumble and fall. This is like a deck of cards, Tony. This is like the tower built with the cards. When one card falls, the rest fall. That's what's going to happen, Tony. And you caused this by re-signing with this guy. And it irritates me to no end because now we're back to only having Impact, maybe Ring of Honor, if you still have that around. Which I highly doubt, because once AEW goes, Ring of Honor is going to go. Because that's like a subsidiary. That's not even its own thing anymore. It's a subsidiary to AEW. And once that goes, all you're going to have is Impact, maybe New Japan if you're, into the outside market. But in the States, you're only going to have Impact, maybe the indie scene, but not a lot of the indie scene's not televised anymore. The only televised market will be Impact Wrestling. And Impact Wrestling's not that great either. No. It's not that great of an alternative. The only thing we had was AEW, and you were about to make it crumble, Tony Khan. You were going to make it fall. You are lighting the match that's going to burn the company to ashes. Because you resign CM Punk. When he caused so much turmoil, so many issues, none of the wrestlers like him in the back. None of them.
And
Not one.
I'm going to just say this for the last time. I said this on my show this past Thursday. The Elite had already there is a rumor, there is speculation out there. It's on the blogs, it's everything. The Elite don't want to work with CM Punk.
They got good reason. Because they were victims of, CM Punk jumping them basically over what their best friend said. Oh, you're victims by association. I wouldn't want to be involved with the guy either.
Right.
They had nothing to do with what Hangman had said 6 months prior to that scrum. They had nothing to do with that. They probably didn't. They probably were like, dude, why did you do that for? And you wouldn't even know because your ass didn't find out. You just decided to just jump them, throw chairs at them, and your buddy was childish enough to bite them. Let's talk about that. Your best friend, your new best buddy, had enough gumption to be childish enough to bite one of them.
On the back.
To bite him, full on bite him. Like he was a freaking vampire or something. No, that's freaking childish. What you did was freaking childish. And Tony Khan, dude, oh, it's okay. Let me extend an olive branch for all the turmoil you gave to this company. Almost crippled my company. And let me tell you something else. After that scrum happened, ratings were plummeting. They were going downhill. Ticket sales were going downhill. Because fans were like, for as long as CM Punk is there, we're not watching the product. They were forced to take him off TV. And now you're bringing him back. Your ratings are going to continue to plummet. And they're going to start plummeting. Excuse me there, but they're going to start plummeting again.
And don't sit there, Tony Khan, And don't sit there and do a live Dynamite and you only see 30 people in the arena when it's supposed to be 18,000. Don't sit there and
Then
don't.
again, you'll probably will get the 18,000 still because a lot of fans still go to wrestling even though the product is
Yeah,
bad. Look
yeah,
at WWE,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but
That is true.
but the ratings are gonna go back down to maybe 800,000 like you were in 2019 when you were a startup company. They might go down to 10,000. That million you ain't gonna have a million for much longer because of the CM Punk thing.
Yep.
I'm just
Oh,
saying your company is going to go in the toilet.
I'm I don't know what to say anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to say anymore. The devil is in the details. And that's the best thing I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen. He has signed with a devil. And listen, if you all sit there, I know there are a lot of punk fans out there. There are some people that support him and everything else. If you think that this is the best thing since sliced bread, and if you think he's the best thing since sliced bread,
Yeah, I'm getting thirsty.
and yeah,
Sorry,
if
my
you
mom came in and asked me if I wanted a drink or something. Come screaming.
no, that's okay. You got a cool mom.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, she's the
ladies.
coolest. She's the coolest ever.
I know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So that's our thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. That's our thoughts. That is
So
our
mom,
thoughts.
if you see this stream, love you.
Love you too, Miss Tyler.
You can say Miss Coleman. I mean, that's
Oh, Miss
better. But
Coleman, I'm sorry. My bad. My
Or
bad. Miss
Mrs.
Coleman.
Jennings, whatever. Yeah, thank
Miss
you, mom.
Coleman. Thank you,
Love
Miss Coleman.
you, mom. Yeah, much love.
Anyway, anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, that is our thoughts on this.
Oh my God, but Tony, again, Tony Khan, you got time. You got time. Rethink this. It's only what, mid-April, late April.
Mm-hmm.
You got until July to 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 to
No,
rethink this.
you got until May to rethink this. You got until May. Is he supposed to be coming back June 21st? So let me
Oh,
just
you got
say this
until
to
June.
him.
No, that's late June though. He still got time. You got until June 21st to rethink this.
Yeah, Tony, sit back and think about this for a second. Look at
Please.
the instant. Think about this for a second. I wish I was sitting next to him when he was on when he was on the phone with this guy. I said, Tony,
You would have gotten up, click, and sat back
yeah,
down.
I
Like, Tony, what
would
are you
have,
doing?
yeah, I would have hung up the phone. I'd have said, Tony, this is a bad move. This is a bad move.
It's a horrendous move because, like I said,
Oh, this is.
like I had said, it's like a card pyramid. Once one piece of that deck falls, it all crumbles.
Yep.
Thanks, Mom. It's
Uh,
yeah, like one piece, one deck of that, or one card falls, that tower falls. And right now, that tower that card is leaning. It's leaning. It's up to you
um,
to push it back.
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at Elite Talk. Tyler said it brilliantly. I think I said it. I think I said all I could say at this point. Um, it'll be interesting to see what the live audience does once he comes through that curtain again. What kind of reception he's going to get. Well, that's something I'm going to sit back and watch. See
Yeah,
what kind
because
of reception.
if he gets cheered, fans are really fickle. So if they getting cheered, if they cheer him, I'm gonna be so upset.
Well, what happened?
because he
Wait.
caused a lot of goddamn turmoil to not just AEW. And yes, he didn't specifically call out the fans. He didn't diss the fans, which I'm okay with that. He didn't diss
Right.
the fans. But you caused so much turmoil that it turned fans off. It turned fans against you. Because look what he's doing to the thing I love.
Right.
So then again, it was an attack to the fans, albeit not intentionally to the fans itself, not
Right.
straight towards the fans.
Right.
But Tony Khan, dude, for the love of God, please fix this. Because, and I hope if you have an announcement that day that CM Punk is going to be there and you signed him, I hope when you walk down that ramp, Tony, you get booed.
Yep.
Because that's not cool. To re-sign a guy who caused so much turmoil, not to just the wrestlers in the back, to the fans.
Not only that, but he bashed you. He bashed you and your company and your management team. So
not only that, you've seen at that media scrum, which is completely unscripted. This is no storyline, any way storyline.
No, right.
CM Punk was not even supposed to be a heel at that point. He was a babyface.
Right.
He was not even supposed to be a heel. You've heard what he said. He was dissing your EVPs. He was dissing you. He was calling your wrestlers, your younger wrestlers, babies that I'm not about to babysit. When months prior, he was the biggest freaking hypocrite for it. Months prior than that, I can't wait to work with all this young talent. Lies. They've got bright futures.
Lies.
And yet you're over, and then months later, he gets pissy over a damn promo.
Lies.
He's a hypocritical liar. He
talks.
He whines and bitches over whines and bitches over a promo.
Right.
And then he goes and says, "I'm not gonna sit here and work with all these babies.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna sit here and work with this young talent because they're just babies, and I'm not gonna sit there and babysit."
And what I say to that is,
Tony, you sat there, physically there, and saw this rant and heard this rant with your own ears. And you're still considering bringing him back. You're still considering, he's a hot commodity. He brings me. Yeah, at that point, whatever. You only care about the money. You don't care about the wrestlers in the back. You don't care about the fans. And you don't even have enough goddamn money for this to be sustainable.
Right.
You don't have enough goddamn money. Oh, my dad owns a soccer team. My dad owns the Jaguars. Oh, my dad does this. That's your dad. And those profits are for those things specifically. Not for you.
Right.
Not for you. You're lucky that your dad lent you some money to start this company. You're lucky the Elite chipped in too. You're lucky freaking Cody, who had probably $1 million at that point because he was a hot commodity in the indie scene, chip in. You got lucky with this company. And you were about to watch it crumble because you sit back and let things happen instead of looking at your wrestlers in the face, putting your foot down and saying, I don't want issues in this company. If you got beef, handle it outside the building. Don't come to work and start fights like you're in freaking high school.
Right.
You can have your fake, you can have your scripted fights, your scripted beefs. That's fine, because that's for TV.
Right.
But to have legitimate beef going on backstage, to have high school bullshit happen, excuse my French, to have high school bullshit happen, and you allowed it, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
You allow it. And you're allowing it again by considering bringing back Punk. It's not set in stone yet, but you're considering it. Yep. You picked a date and everything.
Yep.
And you are considering bringing this asshole back. Call it. Let's have. Oh yeah. Hey, bro, want to go and pitch a fight with a team, with a group that had nothing to do with their best friend's promo? Come on, Tony, think.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was brilliant by Tyler. I have said all I can say at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to return to cyberspace, ladies and gentlemen, on Monday night because we have the Raw watch along. Due to the NBA playoffs and all playoffs in between, the wrestling experience on Thursday will be taking a little hiatus until the playoffs is done. But I will return in the month of May with the wrestling experience. So I hope that you'll tune in for that. You tune in into the month of May, and I will return with the wrestling experience. But however, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, I'll say it again, Elite Talk episode number 3 will happen next Saturday. And we will be back, me and Tyler, we will be back definitely at 4 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And don't forget that we are here each and every Saturday afternoon with this Elite Talk because we have fun doing it.
Yes,
we have fun doing it, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to do it with episode number 3 next Saturday. As I said before, ladies and gentlemen, episode 13 of the Raw Watch Along will happen this Monday night. And then I will be back with the wrestling experience in the month of May. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great Saturday evening. I hope that you have a great Sunday. And Tyler, I hope you enjoy your Sunday and the rest of your upcoming week. I will see you again, my friend, in cyberspace next Saturday. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyler. I'm Earl Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great Saturday night from all of us here at the Hardcore Sports Network and, of course, all sport networks.
Peace.
Now with the hottest show in the universe, The Wrestling Experience, with your host, Earl Cole.
Acknowledge me.
Coming at you with all the dope shit, freshest WWE content, and also the AEW. You are now watching The Experience, The Wrestling Experience. Now with your host, Earl Cole.